Hello and welcome to this mindfulness video on behalf of the Stuart Low Trust. My name is Katie, thank you for joining me today. So today we are going to be focusing on how mindfulness can have a positive effect on our relationships, including our relationship with ourselves and our experiences. So just before that, just a very brief recap of what mindfulness is. So when we talk about mindfulness, we are talking about practicing being in the present moment without judgment. Or to put it another way, putting the mind where the body is, to be present. So when I talk about relationships, we're going to be talking today about all sorts of different relationships. So that could mean a close relationship or family relationship, could mean working relationships, with the man who works in the newsagents, any sort of relationship, and as I say, with ourselves as well. And you know, things like we can have a relationship with our body. It's kind of anything that we experience, we have a relationship with. And mindfulness is all about working with how we are in relation to what happens, to our experience. Just to say that relationships are often very complex, and that's because human beings are basically complex beings. So mindfulness is not about kind of fixing relationships or fixing human beings. It's far too complex. But what mindfulness can do is to kind of improve our relationships. So what do we need from our relationships with other people and ourselves? Communication is a big thing in relationships, very important. And one of those things is being listened to and being noticed, and also in turn feeling understood. And notice that a lot of arguments happen when one or both parties don't feel like they're being really truly listened to or understood or noticed, because that's very key in feeling respected and valued as a human being. And everybody needs to feel that. Everybody wants to feel that. So when I'm thinking about the kind of modern life that we live, there are so many distractions to our communication. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of trying to talk to someone when they're on the mobile phone or a computer game or watching TV, or just distracted in some way. And it can be very frustrating, and again it can really play into those feelings of not feeling listened to, not feeling respected. So whereas if we're mindful, if we give our full attention to conversation, to communication, to listening, and to the other person that we're talking to, it can really enhance our relationship, and it can really improve that communication and enrich that relationship. So we tend to, in our kind of closer relationships, we tend to fall into patterns of communication, into habits. So if they say this, then we react like this, and it can feel very hard to get out of those patterns and those dynamics, and it is very hard. But what happens is that we fall into these patterns. We're not in awareness. We're not doing it mindfully. So if one of those parties starts to shift and change the way they act or react, then it can have a hugely powerful effect on the dynamics of that relationship, and on the dynamics of the kind of communication between those people. And to kind of understand the feeling of behind what's being said and to really pay attention can be incredibly powerful. So when we take time to truly listen to others, to be with them in the present moment, and to listen also to our own thoughts and feelings and reactions, to notice how we react to what's being said and what's being communicated. And we begin out of that to practice compassion towards ourselves and other people, so those two sides are in balance. and to kind of start trying to communicate more clearly and patiently. None of this is easy. They are simple ideas, but it can be incredibly difficult in practice. But it's very, very worthwhile if you can start to just slow down and really notice what's happening when you're talking to someone. Thich Nhat Hanh, who is a Vietnamese Buddhist monk, it was his birthday a couple of days ago. He was 94. And he once said, the most precious gift we can offer anyone is our attention. When mindfulness embraces those we love, they will bloom like flowers. Which is a really lovely way of putting it. I'm thinking actually about my relationship with the people that I work with. So I work in mental health. I work one-to-one with people who have, you know, a huge, vast array of different experiences, different diagnoses, and my job is to support them. And a lot of the time people will be in distress in some way. And just thinking about the most helpful way to be with someone who's in distress. And perhaps you know this from experience of being in distress yourself, and I certainly do, that really the most helpful thing that someone can do is just to be with you, just to sit with you, without trying to fix anything or sometimes offer advice when people are in that acute stage of distress. And just accept the way that someone is feeling. Don't try and talk them out of it, don't try and change it, and try and shift anything. Just the power of just accepting and sitting with someone is very powerful and can be very healing, just giving someone that space. And notice that actually in the relationship with ourselves, because we do have a relationship with ourselves as well, that when we're sitting with ourselves, when we're in distress, that can kind of go out the window, that we can find it very difficult to actually sit with ourselves and not give ourselves a hard time. And it can be helpful to remember actually what is the most helpful way to be with someone in distress, and seeing if you can do that for yourself, seeing if you can befriend yourself and just accept the way you're feeling. Allowing it to be, allowing it to pass, and accepting that it will pass. Again, it's not easy, and it's always a work in progress. It's not that, you know, that we get to a certain stage where nothing bothers us anymore. It's all a work in progress. And often the more we can develop compassion, kindness, and patience for ourselves, the more we can develop that towards other people as well. It's like a circle of compassion that Jack Cornfield talks about. And often we can be very, very hard on ourselves in a way that we wouldn't be to anyone else. And where mindfulness fits into that is that the more mindful we are, the more we notice the things that we're telling ourselves that are very negative or very judgmental, very harsh. And again, it's not about pushing those away, but the power of noticing and noticing the reaction, the effect that can have on the way we feel, can be very powerful in itself. And for me, I think, you know, I was ill for a long time when I was younger, and part of that was kind of stress related. And I spent quite a long time kind of working on making friends with the anxious part of myself. I think that's probably the best way I can put it, is to kind of accept that it was trying to protect me. And I think that's true of a lot of anxiety. It's there for a reason, and to kind of make friends with that, even though it was being overprotective a lot of the time and it was getting in the way. To kind of make friends with these different parts of myself was very healing and very much a part of my recovery. So yeah, and John Kabat-Zinn, who's kind of credited with bringing mindfulness into mainstream medicine, said that mindfulness is a way of befriending ourselves and our experiences. So I'd like to read you a poem actually before we have meditation, and this is by Derek Walcott, and it's called Love After Love. And it's all about the relationship that you have with yourself. The time will come when, with elation, you will greet yourself arriving at your own door, in your own mirror, and each will smile at the other's welcome and say, "Sit, here, eat." You will love again the stranger that was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart. To itself, the stranger who has loved you all your life, whom you ignored. For another who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelf, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit, feast on your life. And you can take whatever you take from that poem, but for me it is about learning to love yourself and to accept yourself and develop that compassion that we hope to have for other people, which can be very difficult. And just going back to our relationships with others, you know, some relationships can be very, very difficult, can be very, especially with our family, I'd say, can be quite destructive. And I'd like to just acknowledge that. And sometimes you can't, there's nothing you can do to kind of move forwards in those relationships, other than focusing on what you can control, because you can't control other people's actions or reactions. And that is to develop those feelings of compassion and kindness for yourself and for the other person if you can, which is, again, very difficult at times. So without further ado, let's do some meditation. So I'd like to do a loving kindness meditation today. So this is actually a Buddhist meditation, and we're going to do a shorter version of it today. So normally it's about kind of directing love and warmth, loving kindness to people and ourselves. So we are going to be directing it at someone that we feel, that we love, that we feel warmth towards, and to ourselves today. The full version also includes someone that we feel neutral towards, and someone that we have difficult feelings about, and then to direct it to the whole world and everything in it, to all beings. But obviously that's going to take some time, so we'll just do a shorter version today, and you hopefully will get the idea with that. Okay, so just getting yourself nice and comfortable as you can, and allowing those eyes to close if that feels comfortable to you. And just bringing your awareness to your breathing to begin with. Allowing your attention to rest on the rhythm of your breathing in this moment as best you can. allowing everything else to fade into the background for a short while. And noticing the gentle rise and fall of your stomach and chest. As you breathe with what is in this moment. And when you're ready, I'd like you to bring to mind someone that you have warm feelings towards. Someone, if you can, that when you think of them, you smile. I'd like you to imagine that they were sitting opposite you right now, smiling at you. And if you want to, you can smile back. And just directing these feelings of warmth, compassion, and loving kindness towards that person. And imagine that you're saying to them the following words. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you ride the waves of your life. May you live in peace, no matter what you are given. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you ride the waves of your life. May you live in peace, no matter what you are given. Just noticing where you feel that warmth towards that person. Noticing if that warmth increased as you said those words. Just noticing what you notice. And just letting the image of that person just fade slowly. And seeing if you can direct those feelings of warmth, compassion, and loving kindness towards yourself. In the same way, And you can say the following words to yourself. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I ride the waves of my life. May I live in peace, no matter what I am given. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I ride the waves of my life. May I live in peace, no matter what I am given. And just noticing what feelings or thoughts come and go. And as best you can, just accepting those thoughts or feelings. And taking a moment to appreciate the connection between yourself and the other person. And that as human beings, you are both unique, both complex, and both fallible. And continuing to breathe with the present moment as best you can. Allowing each moment to unfold in its uniqueness. And perhaps taking a few moments to consider the ways that you might be more present to other people and the ways that you might be more present to yourself. And to treat both with compassion as best you can. And when you're ready, just opening your eyes once more. And just taking a few moments, a few minutes just to sit in quiet and stillness. Okay, so thank you very much once again for joining me today. I hope that you got something out of the video and the meditation. I would encourage you to go back and watch some of the other mindfulness videos. So there's a playlist called Mindfulness for Beginners if you want to go kind of back to more basics about what mindfulness is. There are also some mindfulness in nature playlists if you want to kind of bring mindfulness into the outdoors and reconnect with nature. I would also encourage you to check out the Stuart Low Trust website. That's slt.org.uk. I will leave a link to my website as well in the under the YouTube channel. And please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave me a comment or a suggestion or a question. And I will look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks again.